right. Where do you want to start?
Let's start where were you? Or you want to...
Well, this is the ship we went over on, out of Camp Shanks in New Jersey. We loaded in Newark, I believe. It's a British ship, and called the Stirling Castle.
The Stirling Castle.
The Stirling Castle, right.
And
then
they took all the, it was a luxury liner that they took all the rooms out and just put bunk beds in there and welded them?
Yeah, it was kind of a packet boat that would go up and down the East Coast, South America, North America, and haul passengers. And
I mean, for vacations? Packet boat?
Well,
maybe
business
before?
people, immigrants, everything. Oh. And they welded bunks down below. They cleaned out the bottom, and my bunk was down below the water line. Oh, you climbed down a ladder to get to your bunk.
Was it cold down there? Were the walls cold?
No, it's pretty warm down there. And that ship is the one we came home on.
What ship was that one?
That's the aircraft carrier Enterprise.
Oh, the Enterprise.
That shows us leaving Liverpool, England, to come back.
I think the Enterprise got Apollo 13. Is that the one that picked up Apollo 13?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my friends from Texas was on it.
Oh, okay.
When they picked it up.
Well, they made another Lexington Enterprise after that, so I don't know whether it's the
same one.
But this was pretty active in the Pacific. They nearly sunk it.
The Enterprise. Wow.
And then we flew. After we got over to England, we went over to Falmere, England.
And after you got off that boat?
After we got off the boat, we ended up in Falmere, England. Actually, we landed in Ireland.
You landed in Ireland, huh?
And they took a train, ended up there, and we used to go down to London on leave on it. And if they weren't bombing London, it was pretty a lot of fun.
Wow.
And the name of the outfit was the 339th Fighter Group, 504th Squadron. You see that picture there, the 5QB on it?
Yes.
That's one of our planes.
Wow.
And that one has been restored. That's flying over in England now.
That exact plane, or that's a picture of it. Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me about the checkered nose or the
red and white checker nose. Yeah, right.
That was the 539th.
The 339th Fighter Group.
Or 339th.
Yep.
And what's the 5Q mean?
That was a designation. Each squadron had a different letter and number on it. We were 5Q. They had 6N and there's another one I can't think of it. And it designated what squadron you were in.
Nice.
So when you're flying, you group together with all the planes with 5Qs on them.
Wow. And what's the B on the end of the plane mean?
Well, that's just the sign. It doesn't mean much. See this one up here? There's D7. Now that's Bill Bryant that flew that. And that's Bill signed it for me. I met him when he was a captain. And he stayed in his general now. General Bill Bryant. Wow. And he signed that for me at one of the reunions.
And that is the plane that he flew in the war?
That's the one he flew.
And now it's all restored?
Yep.
Wow, he still has it?
No. I don't know who owns it.
Wow, that's pretty neat.
Yeah. But that's the one Bill had.
Wow.
And
what's your record over there?
There's the record over here. This is... There's another good picture of the 339.
Sideways.
Sideways, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute, I can't get it like that. I gotta get this way. Oh.
But here's all the records we set. In the first year totals were 234 destroyed, probably destroyed with 19, and damaged with 78. On the ground we destroyed 424.
Wow.
Damaged 243.
Are those buildings airplanes? What are they?
Airplanes.
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 Wow.
And this character here is what they call the Sad Sack. He was a character in all the cartoons over there in England.
Wow.
And of course, the British and the American flags. And Stephen Enion is the one that made these things up.
Who was that? Stephen?
Stephen Enion. He was a pilot.
You knew him.
Oh, I know him well, yeah. He is now president of the 339th Association, and he writes the newsletter. And you want to know anything, he's the one you contact.
Oh.
He lives down in South Carolina.
I see. Wow. That's neat. So what did you do on the airplanes?
I was armorer. We had 3 guys on the plane, 3 crew members. We had a crew chief, assistant crew chief, and a crew chief armorer. And that was me. I took care of all the, we have 3 guns, 350 calibers on each wing. We took care of the wing tanks, put those on, or bombs, whichever one they wanted on for a mission. And we also had gun cameras on the side and the gun sight in the cockpit.
Wow. And when the planes would come back with the fuel tanks, if they didn't drop them and they had extra fuel in them, you'd wash your clothes in them?
Right.
And it didn't smell or anything? It worked really good?
No, it was odorless stuff. If they ran into combat, the first thing they do is drop the wing tanks. When they take off from England, they run on the wing tanks first to empty them in case they have to drop them. And if they hit it combat, they'll drop them so they can maneuver. And when they come back without wing tanks, we knew that they had some combat. Yeah. Otherwise, they bring them back, and when they brought them back, there's usually 20, 25 gallons or so in the tank. And yeah, we filled up cigarette lighters with that stuff. We washed clothes in it. We did everything with. We even have a little front. I built a shack alongside the hard stand where the plane was located, and I put a little furnace in there with a 25-gallon drum full of sand, and it had gasoline dripping in it. And you light the gasoline, and it heated up the whole building. So we used gasoline for everything.
Wow.
And why we didn't blow ourselves up is beyond me.
Yeah, I would think you'd blow up.
Nobody worried about it. And we didn't burn down any shacks.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Wow. Tell me about the time your pilot couldn't find his map and he thought you didn't put it in the plane.
Oh. Well, the pilots crawl up, and when they get in the plane, they usually climb up on the wing and then into the cockpit. And this one guy came out, and remember, these pilots had no insignia on them, so I didn't know who it was or what he was. He could have been a lieutenant or a flying sergeant, or he could have been a colonel or general. I didn't know. Anyway, as he got up on the wing, he handed me his maps or a packet. I didn't know what it was. And he said, stick this over the seat. So that's what I did. And off he went. And when he came back, he was furious. He said, what did you do with that packet of maps that I gave you? I said, I stuck it on the seat. And he reached down and he said, that's where I wanted you to put them. And he pulls out the packet. Evidently what happened when he took off, these maps slid back and he couldn't reach them. And when he landed, they came forward again. Never heard from him again.
No.
He was going to court-martial me. Yeah. I never heard again
anything that's good.
about him.
Do you remember his name?
Yeah. That was Bill Clark.
Bill Clark.
Yeah. Mean. He was a commanding officer.
Wow.
But I didn't know it at the time because I had never met him. And he was flying my plane. My regular pilot was on leave or something or other.
What was the name of your plane?
The Yankee Kid.
And whatever.
You had Yankee Kid 1, Yankee Kid 2, and Yankee Kid 3. We didn't lose any of them in combat. They were all replaced due to newer models, or they were war weary. They had too many miles on them, too many hours on them. So we had 3 planes. Never lost one of them.
Wow. So where did those planes end up?
I don't know. They fly them to the rear echelon somewhere in England, and they send them back to the States and use them for training and things like that. But there's two types of planes. You notice these all have, see the canopy on that, the ballistic type canopy?
Yes.
The earlier ones, that cockpit was built right under the fuselage. There was no canopy like that. You opened it up and crawled in it. And those were called P-51B and C. These are D's with that canopy on there. Oh, see that plane up above?
Oh, yes.
Those happen to be the Red Tails, the Tuskegee Airmen. But that's what they were flying. They were flying the old B and C 51s.
I see. Do you know anyone in that picture?
No. No.
Wow, that's something.
Yeah.
So you said once that you have the record for the most non-jamming ammunition?
I was told I was in for a Bronze Star for the most hours with no malfunctions of the guns. They said I had run 20,000 rounds of ammunition through the guns with no jamming, no problem with them. But I never heard any more about it. We were transferred out, the war ended, and never heard any more about it.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah.
How long does it take to, 20,000 rounds, how many rounds a minute does it shoot?
Oh, this thing, this is spit out about 600 rounds a minute.
Wow.
You get 6 guns there.
Wow, that's a lot.
They're pretty lethal.
What caliber were they?
They're all 50 caliber.
Wow, that's a lot of weight coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, sure is.
And
the shells all drop out the bottom. And I've talked to some Germans over there, and they said they get shells all over the place from those guns.
Wow.
One guy I used to square dance with was in Germany, and he says, we've got flight jackets, we've got personal property from bomber groups, we got shells, we got everything.
Wow. Tell me about when the war was over and you were in Germany and you got, I don't know where you went, but they treated you really well. I don't know where that was.
We went on to Augsburg, Germany. When the war ended, we were slated to go to the Pacific, and we were all packed up and ready to go, and the war ended, and I was transferred to a bomber group in Bury St. Edmund, England. And we used to fly back and forth to Germany. And on the first flight over there, I'd never flown a B-17 before. We lost an engine. So we spent the night there, and you couldn't ask for a nicer bunch of people. All the Germans, they couldn't do enough for you. We spent the night in town, and they're all very friendly. Yeah.
You said they were even in the bathroom helping you out, or I don't know what they're doing, giving you Kleenex or.
In the bathroom. This happened to be a German base that we landed at, and there were wrecked airplanes all over the place. But when you go to the bathroom, there's women that clean the bathroom. And you can go in there and use the bathroom, and it doesn't bother them at all. They just go right on cleaning. And that was quite a surprise when I see all these women in here cleaning bathrooms.
That's pretty
They're
funny.
all nicely tiled bathrooms, flush toilets, everything. They were brick buildings, they were permanent buildings. I'm surprised they weren't all destroyed because all the airplanes around the field were destroyed.
Yeah, that's something. Wow.
And then this one over here in Washington, D.C., we had a reunion. Should join us, but Vice President Dick Cheney. And that's all that's left of the group.
Wow.
We started off with 1,200 people, and that's the only members still able to travel and join the reunions. But Cheney was nice. He took a picture of each and every one.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. And then there he is talking to you.
Yeah. And this guy here was the commanding officer of all squadrons.
Wow, what's his name?
John Henry. General John Henry.
Well, that's something.
He was a colonel when I knew him in the Army. And he stayed in, and he became a general. We had 5 generals that could come to the reunions. And all of them have died now except John Henry. He's still alive. He's up in his 90s. He's 94, I think.
94, wow.
Yeah.
And how many people were in your squadron?
Well, it's hard to say. We had 75 airplanes in each squadron. And each plane had a pilot and three crews, 3 members of the crew. And but we had ordnance, and we had radio people that were assigned to us, and we had MPs assigned to us, and we had medics assigned to us, but I don't know how many. All I know is that we were told there was 1,200 in the 3 groups altogether.
That's something.
Yeah.
Okay, well, all set.
That helmet up there is what I picked up on the German Air Force Base in Augsburg, Germany, when we landed there. And that's a German helmet with the Luftwaffe signature on the side of it. And below it is an ammunition pouch that they used to wear. German ammunition pouch.
And where was this? Just laying on the ground?
Yeah, they just laying around. Yeah. They had a lot of anti-aircraft guns around, and they were almost all destroyed, but there were all kinds of things around that you could pick up.
That was neat.
Yeah.
And you just put that in your suitcase?
I picked it up.
Put it in your suitcase and brought it back, huh?
Mm-hmm. On D-Day, one of our pilots landed on a beach in Normandy. He had troubles, and he got the plane fixed, took off again, and came back. And when he landed at Fowler over in England, there was no canopy on the plane, but he was wearing a German helmet, which was kind of unusual. That was the first German helmet we had seen.
Wow, so he fixed his plane on the beach and took right back off the beach?
Yeah, he had an oil leak or something or other, and I guess he fixed it and took off again.
He's lucky he wasn't shot during D-Day? I mean, no one got him.
No, it wasn't. It was a couple of days after D-Day when the beach was cleared.
Wow.
Or he could land.
So, and what happened to his canopy?
It was shot off.
Wow.
That's what developed the oil leak, I guess.
So he found a German helmet on the beach and wore that back?
Yeah. I don't know whether one of the GIs gave it to him or not, but he came back and here he was wearing this German helmet.
That's pretty funny. Wow. What was that guy's name?
I can't remember his name. He wasn't in my squadron, so I don't know who it was.
Wow. I'd be afraid wearing that helmet that they might think you're a German.
Yeah, that's what they thought. They'd taken a chance landing with a German helmet on. Is he German or American?
Yes.
But he had radio. He called in.
Wow. Tell me about this picture. Who's in the center there?
That's my father in World War I. When he came back, he worked for Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, and the insurance company made this thing up for him.
Wow.
And this isn't an official document. It was made up by the insurance company. I guess everyone that came back got one of those.
Well, that's pretty neat. I'm looking for his name. Oh.
Yeah, it's I don't know what those little things are on the bottom.
Wow. What did he do in World War I?
He was in the infantry.
Wow. What did he see? What type of stories did he tell you?
Never talked about it.
Never talked about it?
Never talked about it. No, never heard anything.
Wow. Let me turn this off here.
Government.
This was given to you by the French government?
Yeah, that's the Medal of Jubilee of Liberty. All those that participated in D-Day.
Wow, that looks fairly new. I thought that was a new document.
It is.
It's new? When did they give it to you? How new is it?
You see who gave it to us? Who sponsored it? Was Tom Reynolds, a member of Congress.
Oh.
He set it up to make sure that everyone that participated in D-Day got this medal.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
Commissioned by the Regional Council of Normandy.
June 6, 1944.
Yeah.
Wow. That's something. And then show me your picture over here where you're with Blair.
Over here?
Well, no, that one too, but that's when he grew up. But over there when he's young.
Over here?
Yeah.
That's my brother and I don't know, I must have been 5 or 6 at that time.
And Blair's reading the book and you're looking over?
Yeah, it's a studio thing that they pose it for you.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Do you know what year that was taken?
No. I don't think it was ever marked.
Oh yeah, 1928.
Oh, 28, okay.
Wow. That is something.
Yeah.
Wow. That's good. So,
what are you aimed at?
This picture here, that's you right there?
Yeah, that's me. That's the whole crew.
Is that the Yankee kid there?
That's the Yankee kid. That was before the name was even painted on it.
Wow, that was the very first one.
Yeah, you see the canopy on it. Here's the Yankee kid too. And that's the old one.
Wow.
This was done by a guy in France that sent it to me.
And how did he get the picture?
He drew it. These are all drawn.
Was he in your squadron?
No, I don't know who it was. He signed it over here. Looks like AJ.
How do you know to send it to you?
Stephen Enian got the picture from him, and he said anyone that wanted a copy of it to let Steve know.
Oh, who's Stephen?
Stephen Enian. See his name on those?
Oh yes.
Steve made up those plaques.
Oh, that looks pretty good too.
Yeah. Stephen Enian, the sad sack, he made those all up.
See the one that he wasn't the originator of this.
No.
The one downstairs that had all your accomplishments.
Yeah,
That's
he
the same
made that
guy?
up too. He made up that one too. You see the insignias for the different squadrons?
Let's see. And here's yours.
No, that's the 8th Air Force. That's the whole thing.
Oh.
But there's the different squadrons.
339th.
Mine's Black Horse.
Oh, right, 504. Sorry, there it is, 504.
And see it right here? That's my airplane FIQJ.
I see. That looks good. Cool. Who did you get this one from?
That was made by, drawn by a guy in England.
Yeah, the Yankee
that
kid.
was Nick King did that one. Nick King would come to some of our reunions.
Well, looks pretty good.
And he made that one up there too for me. That's Slick Penrose. He died.
The Beaver chant?
Yeah, he was quite a fan. He showed up at all the reunions, but he had cancer or something. He died a few years ago.
Well, that's too bad. Is that a picture of him right there?
Yeah.
Wow. And tell me about his plane.
I don't know much about it. It was parked next to mine, and I knew the crew chief on it, and I can't think of his name now, though. But
The crew chief's name?
you got to know them all. When the planes took off, usually all the guys would get together and play cards or do something or other, or wash clothes. And this one here was done by a guy in England. And that was a...
That's pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty well known for these drawings. And there's the 3 squadrons, 6N, D7, and 5Q. And you notice the tails are different.
Yeah, why are the tails different?
Well, you notice the black and white stripes?
That's D-Day?
Yeah, invasion stripes. They kept changing those. They used to have them around the wings, and then they kept changing them every few days. And the tails have changed. And that's our field down below. That's Falmouth. That's our airfield right there. And where I was located, right there.
Right there, huh?
That's where our plane was.
What's the name of that field again?
That's Falmouth, England.
Oh.
It says return to Falmouth by Keith Hill. But Keith Hill is a pretty well-known man for drawing these pictures.
I see. Cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Now, how did you get this picture of you on this plane? Where'd that come from?
Somebody took it of us. I had a camera, and I guess I asked them to take a picture. Because the pilot had just landed, and he still got his maps in his hand. And that's Bud Caldwell, the pilot. He died a couple of years ago, too. I'm the only one left. Rick Bocardi, Jimmy Taylor. Jimmy Taylor went first. He died. And then Rick went, and then Merrill went.
Wow.
So I'm the only one left on that one.
That's something.
So I can tell you anything you want, and no one can argue with me.
Wow, what was the landing gear? Is that or landing strip? Was that aluminum?
Mats.
Oh, steel
mats.
It's all steel.
Made over in East Rochester.
Wow, that's amazing.
Bob Dilger's father made them.
Wow, they shipped them all the way over there.
Well, that was one of many places that stamped those out. But this is a picture of the planes escorting the bombers.
Like
the old bombers down below.
I see.
And there's the 339th up above escorting them.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Well, that's 1986. That's when we were over in Europe. That's
I remember when you went there.
Yeah,
was the
reunion? Huh?
Was the base still there?
No, it's a farmer's field.
No. Could you figure out anything there when you were there? Any landmarks of the base whatsoever left?
Well, it's turned back into a farmer's field. One of the hangars is left, and the guy that owns it, they call it the manor. They have a manor house there that the guy that owns all the land came over and had attended one of the reunions with us. And he took us out through the field when we were over there and told us where the runways used to be. And this is a concrete perimeter all around the field. This is all steel mats, steel mat and grass. Usually the mats are just the
runway.
Yeah, where they land and then they're off on grass.
So this is still there? The mats? Or,
no, everything's torn up. It's all back to farm. It's all farmland now.
I see.
Yeah. It used to be an RAF base before we moved there.
What's that, RAF?
The Royal Air Force. And the little town of Falmere. It must be over in here, the town of Falmere. There's a pub there that everyone used to go to called the Checkers. And the Checkers has a big sign outside, and on one side it has the RAF sign, on the other side it has the 339. Because they were both out there. Now when we went over there in England in 1986, they shut the whole town down and the schools, and they opened up the schools and set up tables for us for dinner. The kids all came dressed in their finest, and they waited on us.
Wow, pretty
and
neat.
They have a windmill outside of the school, which is a P-39. It's made out of metal.
Wow. That's
And
something.
the kids were great, man.
That's good. All right.
That was when we had quite a few guys to go over there. We had about 4 or 5 bus loads of guys. Now we can't even fill a half a bus.
Wow.